Dancing with Life by Mahdi Al-Mousawi. One of the most important factors that brings joy to the hearts is to feel grateful and satisfied to what you have, no matter how small, as this makes your life peaceful and silent. Once upon a time, a man went out with his son on a trip to distant lands, and they took a donkey with them to carry the luggage. And when they reached the halfway, the donkey's leg was broken and he was unable to carry the luggage. So the man said, "What God obscured was greater." And the man and his son had to leave the donkey and carry the luggage by themselves. And while they were walking, the man's leg was wounded and he was dragging it behind him. So the man said, "What God obscured was greater." His son was surprised from what he said, and he carried his luggage and his father's luggage on his back. And they continued in their way. Then a snake had bitten the son until he fell down from the pain. So the man said, "What God obscured was greater." At this moment, the son got angry and said, "Is there anything greater than what happened to us?" Then they continued in their way until they reached their destination with difficulty. And there they were surprised by finding it in ruins as a result of an earthquake that destroyed it. So the man said, "Did you see, my son? If we didn't face what had happened to us, we would have been perished." Likewise, a person can create happiness from nothing. When we wake up every morning, each one of us has the choice to live his day happily and positively, or miserably and negatively. As it's said that one of the businessmen had a store selling flowers, and this man insisted on delivering the bouquets of flowers that his workers prepared to the customers by himself. When he was asked about the secret behind this action, he said, "I do this to enjoy the moment of joy and happiness that I see on the faces of customers while I give them the bouquets of flowers, as this moment is very valuable to me." Bit to remember, gratitude is the treasure of the wise men, and happiness may be created from nothing. One of the basic rules that achieve happiness is not to wait for a favor in return for helping people. If you harnessed your strength to serve others, God will send you someone who will help you in your most difficult moments. It's said that an old couple entered a hotel on a very cold night and they were very tired. They were met by a young employee working at the hotel, but the hotel was full of customers. So the young man offered them his own bed in order to spend this night, so they agreed. After 2 years of this incident, the young man received an invitation from the old man to come to New York, as the old man was the owner of the world-renowned hotel, Waldorf Astoria. And he invited the young man saying, "This is the hotel that I built for you to manage." Likewise, happiness is achieved by sharing the blessings that you have with others, as sharing these gifts that God has given you with people will provide you with strength to help you, protect you, and expand your life horizons. And at this point, it's said that a man was walking in the alleys of the Japanese city Tokyo. He found a child playing alone with a strange game that he had never seen before, which is a thread attached to a wheel that flows up and down. And at that moment, the man came up with an idea for the game and named it the yo-yo. And he earned millions of it as it was spread all over the world. The man was fair. As he searched for that child, he adopted and took care of him, and later he became the manager of a famous yo-yo factory. Bit to remember, do a favor without any return and share your blessings with others. Liberating oneself from any fears is considered one of the most important factors that achieves happiness. If you have thought, consulted, and asked guidance for something, go ahead and don't listen to the voices that comes from within you that tell you to wait and fear. Also, close your ears to those frustrated people who weaken your spirit and delay you from achieving the goals you aspire. The author of the book says that he once came to a soft stream and he was very thirsty, and there was a duck panting from thirst. And whenever the duck comes near the water, it freaked and moves backwards, as it was terrified of the reflection of its image in the water. And this scene was repeated many times, but in the end, it decided to liberate itself from its fears and jump into the water. And soon, the reflection image disappeared forever. Also, when you face life problems, you have to look at them from a broad perspective, as this will help in mitigating the consequences of these problems. At this point, it's said that a student complained to his teacher about the several problems he faces and the extent of its influence on him and his life. So the teacher told him to bring a small container with water and put a certain amount of salt in it, and then drink it. The student tried to do so, but he was unable to drink because of the salinization of water. Then the teacher told him to bring a larger container of water and put the same amount of salt in it, and then try to drink it. The young man tried and was able to drink all the water as the effect of the salt disappeared. So the teacher told him that the problems of life must be seen in this way. Bit to remember: liberate yourself from fears and expand your vision. Life is God's most precious gift to you, with all its accompanying love, sadness, hope, and pain. So never complain about it. It's said that an 80-year-old man was sitting with his son in the balcony of the house. So a crow passed by the house and made loud noises. The father asked his son, "What's this screaming, my son?" Then the son answered him, "It's a crow." After a few minutes, the father returned and asked his son for the second time, "What's this screaming, my son?" The son replied, "It's a crow." After a while, the father repeated the question for the third time and said, "What's this screaming, my son?" The boy got angry and said, "Why are you repeating the same question? Don't you see that it's a crow?" The father remained silent for a while, then he went to his room and returned with a notebook containing his old diary and asked his son to read it, so the son started reading. "Today, my son has completed 3 years old and he's now running in our garden. A crow passed by the house and made loud noises. My son asked me, 'What's this?' So I told him, 'It's a crow, my son.' After a few minutes, he came back and asked me the same question, and I answered him, 'It's a crow, my son.' Then he repeated this question more than 23 times, and every time I told him that it's a crow, until he got tired and slept in my arms." Also, you should search for a meaningful life, focus on the core beyond the pictures and figures, and avoid as much as possible the false aspects of life. At this point, it's said that a student visited his teacher to discuss with him the issue of stress in work and life. So the teacher brought him a container with some coffee. Then he offered him 3 different types of cups. Some of them are cheap, some of them are regular, and others are expensive. And he asked him to choose one of them, so the student chose the expensive cup. So the teacher said, "As you notice, most people will want to get the expensive cups, and this is the source of tension in our lives. The cups don't add anything to the coffee, rather they may add an extra charge to its price. And what we really need is coffee, not the cup." And when we look at life, we find that the several false aspects of life such as glory, money, and fame are only cups. And focusing on cups makes us fail in enjoying coffee. Bit to remember: don't complain about life and live a real life. Thanks for watching. Please follow our social media accounts. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel.